Well, this is the sweetest victory of all.
Well, in a season with so many disappointing games, to see the girls beat my least favourite team in the Hawthorn Hawks and not only beat them, but smash them by 35 points with the highest score ever kicked on them in AFLW history is, oh, it was just brilliant. And to do it on Friday night prime time, chef's kiss. Absolutely amazing performance. And could this get any better? Well, you bet you can get better because we had Indy Tahau not satisfied with kicking 4 goals against the Bulldogs and this time kicking 5 goals and now definitively being in the lead for leading goal kicker. And with, Hawthorn being arguably one of the best defences in the competition, if she can kick 5 against Hawthorn, fingers crossed what she can do against Adelaide and GWS. Is the leading goal kicker award hers to lose now? Oh, I so hope so, because it is so exciting to see we might potentially be on the cusp of our first ever leading goal kicker in both men's and women's club history for Port Adelaide at the AFL level. So that is definitely really exciting. However, it wasn't just Tahau being brilliant, because pretty much everyone was amazing, and we had some players doing so well that I was not expecting. Ella Bogue was really amazing. She kicked her first ever multi-goal game, getting 2 goals. Was absolutely turning up in the midfield. Not only was she doing well in the midfield, Jasmine Stewart, who, has only just come back since round 2, you would have think she was been in the team since, every game this year. She was absolutely doing amazing in the midfield. Also, we had Dowrick finally come back after her injury last week, and not only that, she finally got over a hoodoo and kicked a goal, which was a lovely snap. I think it was in the first quarter. But also getting about over hoodoos, Gemma Houghton. Obviously, I've had a few issues with her dropping marks and not hitting the goal through, but she was totally on fire again, just like the Hawthorn semi-final, which was a lot of connections to that game all throughout tonight. But obviously amazing with 3 goals, and she's obviously also potentially in running for the leading goal kicker, although be it I think 4 goals or so behind Tahau. But she is also closing in on 100 career goals, which we might, fingers crossed, see before the end of this year. So that's another thing to look forward to, and I hope we celebrate that one big time. But there is actually one player I want to put a lot of focus on because she was absolutely incredible today, and that was Molly Brooksby, who had an absolute killer game in defence. She was marking multiple goals, and not only that, she was helping get out of defence multiple times with some really good escapes from packs and stuff. She was amazing. It just sucks that she already got a rising star on last year and is ineligible for the award this year because, darn, this was absolutely the game to give Molly Brooksby a Rising Star nomination because this is definitely her best game by far. She was everywhere in defence. But speaking about defenders, I know a lot of you guys were very upset with me going after Amelie Borg for her performance last week. So I'll happily let you know that she did amazing today. I think she had the job of shutting down, I think it was Caitlin Ashmore for the Hawks. I'm not super familiar with all the Hawthorns forwards. But whoever she was shutting down, she just took them pretty much out of things. So I don't recall them kicking any goals or so. And obviously she finally got a few free kicks for herself, although there was why do the umpires hate her so much? Because now she's getting pinged for a deliberate out of bounds, which I think was iffy. And that was actually the out of bounds that let the Hawthorn get on to start a goal spree late in that third quarter, which left me a little bit worried at 3-quarter time. However, we technically didn't succumb to our normal Q4 crash outs as we actually built our margin back up to 6 goals again in that last quarter, which was incredible. One of the main reasons why we were doing so well in that quarter and pretty much throughout the whole game is we actually kind of had a pretty much uncontested Schultz in the ruck as Hawthorn's Lucy Wales was a late out. Basically, Schultz an absolute free reign in every stoppage of the game, and it really showed as we were easily able to tap the ball to all our midfielders and frequently get out of all the stoppages. But it wasn't just the stoppages where we were doing amazing. I was so impressed with how well we shut down Hawthorn's disposals. They were trying to handball it and we were just intercepting the handballs, or as soon as the player received it, we tackled them. But most importantly of all, we stopped them marking. The amount of times in previous games, the ball's been up in the air and 2 of our players been in contest and they've just marked it on us has annoyed me. So I was so happy today to see the players just spoiling after spoils after spoil. Like Hawthorn was just not able to catch a thing. In fact, I believe Hawthorn had like a few players get 3 marks, and that was it for the game. No player had more than 3 marks. And meanwhile, we had, I believe, 5 players with 4 or more marks. So that just shows you just how much we were shutting down any form of transition the Hawks could throw our way. And that culminated in the start of the third quarter, which was probably the most dominant play we have ever looked in AFLW club history. We just locked that ball inside 50, and the Hawks looked totally helpless. And as soon as we got a goal and we went back to the center bounce, we would just put it back inside our 50 again. It was definitely like, I was so impressed with how dominant we were. However, one thing I do want to note about our team that was very unique today, and I was really impressed by it, was how often we held onto the ball. So normally, when we get the ball to the ground, we use our first thought is like, kick it forwards. But there were several times today we sort of picked up the ball, and rather than kicking it, we ducked and weave and ran with the ball for a bit. And that's pretty impressive. When you got like 3 Hawthorn players going at you to basically dodge them and run through them, and then kick the ball, it takes a lot of bravery and a real strong level of maturity, which is something we have been critical of the team all year. So that was amazing. And it was partly one of the reasons why we had such clean inside 50s, because our players were, running with the ball and actually taking their time to think where to kick the ball. And we got some really accurate kicks inside 50, which is one of the many reasons we just did so well at this game. So it's a shame, I guess I need to talk about the negatives, Actually, you know what? Nah. I think the girls did so amazing today that they're not even going to sully this review with any negative comments. Instead, I'm just going to leave the girls with an absolute perfect review today, as they did amazing. And once again, we deprived Hawthorn of a revenge game in which they went in as the absolute favourites, and I could not be happier to see the Hawthorn see their wings get a major clip. So rest easy, girls, as obviously we're not quite out of the hard games just yet, as we arguably look to our most competitive showdown ever. If the Hawks were my most wanted win of the season, the Adelaide Crows are definitely my second most wanted win. Obviously, we still technically have a slim chance to make finals if we win these last 2 games. And if this Crows outfit can lose to Richmond, they can lose to anyone. So everyone, let's look forward to our Norwood clash next Friday, with fingers crossed that we can pull off our first back-to-back wins of this season. Until next time, let's go Power! And get wrecked, Hawthorn.